When did you realize your parents were genuinely dangerous people? My younger sister was 8 when I first bullied her for having autism, except at the time, I thought it was just quirky traits she had. So whenever she wasn't able to make eye contact, I would point at her and say, "Oh, are you scared? We're all secretly Medusa," and cackle at the top of my lungs. So one day we were at the mall and she had a full breakdown because she could feel a rock in her Doc Marten. That's when I realized she probably had a case of the tism. But instead of telling our parents, I tried to get her diagnosed myself. You see, I was 18 at the time, and our parents were pretty much those insane hippies you see on TV. One time I had a really bad case of the flu, and instead of bringing me to the doctor, they poured cayenne pepper into my belly button. And the next day, when they noticed that it didn't work, my dad started wailing on me to beat the sickness out of me. So I knew going to them about potential autism would put Mia in danger. Luckily, the school counselor was extremely helpful. It was actually a relief when she got diagnosed because then I knew how to better take care of her. I remember working almost 40 hours in overtime that week just to buy her top-tier noise-canceling headphones that she could wear whenever she felt overstimulated. And in secret, I'd bring her into the locked bathroom to teach her how to self-regulate. Looking back, I should have known that it was just a band-aid solution, that it would all come crashing down. One day I told Mia we could watch Cinderella, her favorite movie, since I had the entire day off of work. Suddenly, she started flapping both of her hands super hard like a bird, screaming super high-pitched. I glanced over at my parents whose eyebrows were furrowed. So in a moment of quick thinking, I began to mimic her exact verbal and physical reaction, pretending it was a quirky inside joke. The whole thing made me realize how much help Mia really needed, so I started taking up more shifts to pay for her therapy. It was the first time my parents would be home alone with her for long periods of time, but I thought it would be fine, because girls with autism are typically better at masking anyway. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. I was at the cash register arguing with a customer when I heard my phone ring. It was Mia. Immediately a gut feeling washed over me because she knew not to call me at work unless for emergencies. When I picked up, I could barely hear her because she was crying harder than ever, begging me to come home. But before I could ask for more detail, I heard a man yelling in the background. She hung up. The drive home was 30 minutes, but I made it in 20. I ran up the stairs looking for Mia, but as I did, I heard a faint banging. It was coming from the closet underneath the stairs. I knew my parents thought I was still at work, so I quietly opened the door and Mia ran out, jumping into my arms. I put my finger over her mouth to shush her, and she just nodded like she understood. So there I was, holding a 10-year-old girl with low-functioning autism, not knowing what the F to do. So I did the first thing I could think of and quietly carried her out to my car. Turns out, my parents had asked my sister what was going on, and she burst out with the truth, that she had been secretly diagnosed with autism. My dad's hand immediately hit her face. "She's going to poison Jack!" My name, my mom yelled, hence why they put her in the closet. Apparently they were waiting for me to come home to see what they should do with her. I felt myself sniffle and choke to hold back tears when she said that, because I knew I had to stay strong. I told her that she would always be safe with me and no one would ever hurt her again. She held my hand tighter and I knew she believed me, but I still didn't know what to do, so I just scrolled through my contact list to see what family member would take us in. I ended up deciding on our Aunt Leah, because she herself was a little quirky too. I didn't waste any time and told her exactly what was going on with Mia. She seemed really understanding. I should have known that no one is that friendly to someone they hadn't seen in a while. She told me she'd be happy to take in Mia, but I couldn't stay, because she didn't want men in her house. I told her I respected her wishes and I would be back too. The last image I saw was Mia running excitedly to hang out with Aunt Leah's daughter, and I never saw her again. Not really anyway, because after what Leah did, she was never the same. The next day she called me from her school, crying even harder than after the incident with our parents. Turns out Aunt Leah had let her husband do much, much worse to Mia. Full story on channel, linked below.